Yes.
So
Yes, Penta and Wa. You see, Penta and Wa are responsible for people not living their design. They are responsible for people wanting to be what they're not. They're responsible for the not self-drive to fit in with normality, to fit in with. So if you don't know how to define your difference, if you don't know how to find a creative way to express your uniqueness, to be unique is a tough shit because you're a freak. And the Penta and the Wa, the human group, they don't like freaks.
mm,
They feel threatened by freaks. They don't like exceptions to the norm. So, you know, that's why nobody experiences their uniqueness, because they have never been trained for that, because there is no school for that. You know, all schools are an indoctrination system of some kind. I mean, beyond good or bad, you know. It's not like we shouldn't have them. That's not what I'm saying.
yeah.
Because without that homogenization, we wouldn't know how to function in the world as a normal person.
Mhm.
Okay. The horror is, why does it have to be at the cost of your uniqueness? You know, after all, being unique is just, you know, a unique way of being normal, a unique way of being not normal, being human, human,
Mhm.
for which there is no true norm. You know, all norms about what being human is supposed to mean and blah, blah, blah. This is all collective. This is all group thinking. This is all herd. And it's logical. It's biological as well,
Mhm.
though it isn't as tangible as our own biology. Um, when you understand Penta and Wa, first of all, you know how to protect yourself from those invisible group dynamics that are always at work from the moment there is three or more people together in the aura. Okay, that's the first thing. But the second thing is you understand why there is no one you can blame for the world being such a miserable place. You know, you realize that those are control agents of the evolutionary forces through which humanity is as deeply programmed as any other species, as bees are, or as, you know, we follow our collective design. That's the Penta, that's the Wa. They set up the hierarchies. They set up the roads, the rules, the laws, the standards for all of us. And they don't depend on you or me. It's nothing personal. They don't depend on kings. Kings come and go like everyone else, you know. It's the institutions, it's the throne, you know, it's the institutions we have created to organize the group life. So we have a health department, you know, we have what do I know, security, police department, we have teachers, we have the money system, the business, the, you know, all of that is structured, controlled in an incredibly perfect way. It's beautiful, actually, when you see it.
Mm.
The only thing that's horrible is that it's all at the expense of the spirit of the individual. You know, civilization is built with the sacrifice of individuality. You know, it is not made for diversity, it is made for uniformity, homogenization. Um, and see, it's not something we can stop. The program is not something we can change or go against without suffering. But once you understand its rules, and once you understand your helplessness, You know, it's like trying to change the world. You can't change the world. You can try and find your place in it. You can try and find ways to express yourself creatively in it while you're in it, no matter what your circumstances are. But you can't change the world. It changes on its own. And when I say it changes on its own, it does not change the way you want it, the way I want it. It changes according to the way the group demands it. But the way the group demands it according to our, our design by nature, not the way we identify with God constructs and, see ourselves as semi-gods or, we do not recognize and we do not know how to integrate and honor our animal nature. We were driven by religions to condemn it, and to fake that we are above the animal, that we are not a beast. And of course, we know we are. So, where does all this hypocrisy come from? And it's in the program. It's when you understand that hypocrisy isn't actually such a bad thing. If it wasn't for hypocrisy, we would really be at each other's necks. Hypocrisy is just something the group imposes on all its members because the group is not interested in individual truth. It would be a mess if we had to define a direction for all of us based on 8,000 million, unique. No, you can't organize a group in this way. So it's a paradox. We are the paradoxical species. We are designed to understand this. So to understand this construct is to understand the world at a level that you couldn't imagine. And it makes it easier to accept it and not look for someone to blame, not look at it like a good guys, bad guys movie or winners and losers movie. See it for what it is, the mundane plane. What it has always been, and then to be able also to discern, the impact of those two entities in your daily life. The penta dynamics in the small group, which have, so much of our not self is glued to those structures. So to look at your design through that mechanic, it's like you can see how anybody behaves when they are in groups. How you always take the same position, no matter what the constellation is, because that's your way to fit in with the group, whether it's a small group, or whether it's a large group, because there is different groups, different gifts for each. There's people that they excel in the small group, but you put them in the large group and they kind of they freeze. Yes. Okay. And there's people that are reversed. In the small group, they disappear. But you put them in the large group and hey, they come into power. So there are certain, it's a very, very clear structure, the Penta and the Wa. And for me, being like I am a triple split definition, my two open centers, they're all about Penta. So I'm deeply vulnerable to Penta. But in my triple split, I don't care about Penta really. Yeah. Okay, I'm pretty good one-on-one. And yet I always realize that when I enter a large group, it's like I'm lost. I don't know if I should go around hugging everyone or I should keep away from everyone, because each part of me, of my triple split, okay, is attuned to a different Wa. And I could feel so crossed, feeling different impulses at the same time, that was just make me feel awkward, And when I saw for the first time the structure of Wa, and I understood the way my definitions become power-based to their social dynamics, it blew my mind. It was not only blew my mind, I think that is the moment when rave sociology was born. Because I understood that understanding these group dynamics, they were beneficial at levels that transcended deeply the business world, which is the only sphere where this knowledge was applied until this moment. Okay. And it was after some conversations with Ra, okay, that a couple of weeks later, he came up with the rave sociology program, you know. So for me, it was an incredibly healing moment, you know, to realize, oh, I wasn't doing anything wrong. It's just that, you know, Wa is not my thing. It really is. You know, I was born in a village and I have spent most of my adult life in Ibiza, where the Wa's power is very, very weak, you know, and right here, I live now in a small village where I have to go on the street, you know, that's where the Wa starts. Otherwise, it has no access to me. And to know these things, for me, it was incredibly healing in the sense that, you know, they're part of living your design in a way. You know, you just have to learn to recognize it because the thing with Penta and Wa is that they're invisible. It's different when someone comes in your aura and it's visible, you feel it, it's happening there. Okay. But these shifts in the density of the flow in the shared consciousness that happens when you move from 2 people to being 3 people or 4 people or 5 people or move over to 9 people, we're not aware of those things, you know, and yet our consciousness gets trapped in it. To know it is to recognize it. And then you can still decide if it's okay, you know, or if it's time for you to move out, you know, just come back to yourself, come back to your own.
Absolutely. So this workshop is amazing because the mornings will be, you know, on the theory, and the afternoons you are planning to give us exercises, you know, live
Not
experiences.
not so much exercises. We will see, you know, we can play with something, but you know, that wouldn't be so much during the classroom time. It would be more in the evening or something like this, something fun to do. No, my plan is more to, you know, use the mornings to introduce and share the information, the theoretics, and then the afternoons to work with the people that are there, you know, kind of how are they receiving the information? What questions does that bring up in them? Okay, and then with their design on the screen, provide an answer that not just answers the question theoretically, but you know, that I can see the substance of why is this person asking this? What does it have to do with her? And what is the piece of information that can, well, widen her understanding in a way that it makes a difference in, you know, how she embodies that principle in her daily life, you know, where she can take advantage of it and where she can protect herself from being burdened by it, herself or himself, whatever.
We're really looking forward to this, to the 2 workshops, and to have you again in Holland soon.
Me too. Me too. I mean, you know, if you're someone that's just looking for knowledge and theoretical, then you really shouldn't come.
Yes.
Okay, because I mean the knowledge is going to be there, but the focus is going to be on, you know, how does it transform the way you behave, the way you live your design, the way you meet these forces, and knowing them, you don't allow them to distort you, which means you either surrender to them because it's correct for you, okay, or you don't, or you surrender to your nature and you say, no, not for me, not this time. And that's what makes the difference, you know, that where you used to be just pulled in, you know how to recognize that's not you. You know, that's how you allow other people to take you for granted. That's how you tell other people, yes, I can be normal. Well, yes, you can. Doesn't mean you should, or doesn't mean it's your only option.
So it's going to be a very empowering workshops for the people who come. You know, it's transformation and empowerment.
You should go out of there realizing you can't stop people from conditioning you, but you can stop allowing people to distort you,
yeah,
to determine you. You know, that's up to you. That's up to, well, you being loyal to yourself, to your natural determination to be what you are, or you faking someone you're not because you're afraid of rejection, because you're afraid of not meeting someone. Well, because your fear wins over your determination. And if that is the case, it's good for you to know at least. You know, it's not about that to judge yours, it's just good to know.
Mm-hmm.
And well, wait until you're ready to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to stand up for yourself without that meaning you're against anyone. That's the beautiful thing with human design, that it teaches you how to be yourself, and you don't have to go around confronting enemies. It's not about fighting conditioning. You know, it's much more about recognizing the conditioning that's nurturing, okay, from the conditioning that's distorting. But conditioning is going to be there. Your inner authority is what tells you, you know, yes to this, no to that.
Thank you very much, Alok, and we
Pleasure.
hope to see all of you in the courses and the workshops, and to welcome you. Thank you very much.
Yes.